Hello, Coffee Time friends. How y'all doing? It's me, John and Momma, here with Coffee Time with John and Momma. If you're not following us, head on over to our Facebook page by the same name and like us, follow us, and share us, and do all that good stuff. Tonight's video is going to be different than any one we've done in a long time. We're going to make some good old beef stew. Y'all know we had that wonderful roast, and me and Momma both. I said, Momma, what would you like to have?
Real big.
The what, Momma? She was
Let me
whispering.
have that piece.
Mama's whispering. What, Momma?
That doesn't look good on the end.
You don't want these cut what?
Real big like you did before. They take so long to cook.
Yes, ma'am. So, me and Mama both had the same exact idea. I said, Mama, what do you want for supper? And she said, you know, I was thinking, it's hot outside, but I'd like to have some good beef stew and cornbread. I said, I was thinking the exact same thing. Now, these are fresh carrots. They're from the store, but they are fresh. And we're just going to chunk them up in little pieces. Mama just whispered in my ear some instructions. Don't cut them too big.
He cuts them real big sometimes.
I like, sometimes if I'm going to put them in the crock pot, I might leave a carrot that big. I like them. I want to taste that carrot. Y'all have heard me say that before. If you cut them too little, they mush up and they kind of just take on the flavor of everything else. When I get to tasting, I want to taste whatever I'm eating. So we're just going to throw those in this big old kettle here. This is a Tupperware kettle. Some of y'all will ask. And we use them because they're good. Mama does have Town Craft she's had since she got married. And it's good too.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
These carrots, there's some more over here in the bowl, but I'm just going to cut up this onion because Mama don't like to cut up onion at all.
Well, that didn't make me cry peeling it, so I don't.
We got water on this board, so this won't make me cry either, Mama. So what have y'all been doing today, and what are you planning on doing for supper? I know, this is a fall meal, and we're rushing it. But I'm seeing all the fall stuff out in the stores, hearing it on Facebook, seeing other people do stuff. And we had this roast. To be honest with you, if we didn't have the roast, we might not have gone with the fall. You know, it may not have struck us. But since we had it, it struck me, didn't it, Mama?
Yeah, so we can use the broth that was left and some of the meat to flavor this, so it'll be
But
great.
now this will have to cook. We'll cook this for about an hour and 10, 15 minutes. So what we're going to do, the reason I said it'd be different than any other video, because so far you're saying, things about the same, John. I'm going to put these root vegetables on here. Let them be getting soft. Now we don't have to do the meat because it's already done. And it was so tender and good that coffee just tendered it right up. So what we'll do with that meat is we're going to cook this in some beef broth. And then we're going to add that meat in it about 30 minutes, 20 minutes before we take it up. And we're ready to eat. And Mama's going to stir up some cornbread. You want to go ahead and stir up some cornbread now so you can show them the after?
Well, ain't going to put the buttermilk in it now because...
Oh, that's fine. That's right. Mama don't like to do hers early.
I want hot cornbread.
She wants hot cornbread. Well, let us do it when we come back on for part 2. We'll show them that. Won't take long to do cornbread, folks. So this is it. And that beef broth's right there, Mama, if you don't care to get it.
I'll get it.
I'm going to get all this.
That little piece of carrot, I forgot to put that in.
Yeah, Mama, I was going to judge your work, but I decided not to. I didn't want to embarrass you in front of your friends. Alright, so that is the onion. I already cut up, and not a tear in sight. Didn't even burn my eyes. One reason is this is a Vidalia. Thank you, whoever sent that last bag of Vidalia. I didn't think I'd send another Vidalia for a year.
All we had was those and purple ones, and
I don't use purple when I'm cooking, and at least loses the purple anyway.
Don't look as appetizing.
And I want just a plain old sweet onion if I can get a hold of it. So there's that. I put them right in there. And in goes, now this is 2 kinds of broth. We're going to use some in a cardboard thing, and we're going to use some from yesterday's. Mama, show them what you're doing.
I just poured the broth in there off of my meat.
Yeah, I'll take
was
your
in here.
bucket. You pour just the broth, get that other, and we'll go ahead and put him in there because I used it, part of it the other day. And we might as well, because we like, now here's the thing, the recipe for this is however much beef you have, use it. and then however much vegetables and potatoes you want, use it. And then usually these recipes call for a 1/4 cup of flour or a 1/2 cup of flour, and it just thickens them. Mama and I both agree. We don't like thick stew, do we, Mama?
No.
And so we always prefer it thin. And normally,
I'm going to wait till I pour the rest of that in there.
Right.
If we need it.
now here's another little thing I'm going to tell y'all. We're not going to put these potatoes in there. We're going to put them in a separate kettle. We're going to boil them separate because we don't want that starch releasing in there and thickening this up, because it will. You don't even have
I'm going
to.
to set this over here on the
Yeah,
stove.
let me show them here.
Oh, okay.
So here is the onions and the carrots. Now some of y'all will probably say, I put celery in mine. You can, but we don't. It gives it a different flavor, and I'm sure if you like that, that's good. We stick to the old basics: potatoes, onions, and carrots, and the beef. Sometimes we start out with raw beef. We'd put it in there and let it brown if we were going to do that. But we put these in a separate kettle. Now, if you're not a teetotaler, if you're one of them people who's adding flour to yours, then just go ahead and cook your potatoes in there if you want to, and maybe just skip the flour. You ever notice when you cook it and you leave it over, and the next day it turns into a gel? That's what I don't like, for sure. But when it turns into that gel, it's probably from your potatoes. The starches from these potatoes,
Or if you use cornstarch in the
if you use thickening in it of any kind, but the potatoes releases a lot of starch. So we put them in here, and then we'll rinse them a couple of times whenever we get ready to pour them in the big pot. And tomorrow ours will still be nice and juicy.
She's getting in a habit.
She hears my voice. She's not heard me today, so she's all excited. But that's all we're going to do right now, folks. This is the part 1. If you don't get to see both of them live, you can go back and catch us on a replay. We'll both have them both on there. We hardly ever do a 2-parter. But when you're going live, you either do 2 parts or just show a picture. And a lot of y'all told me you don't want to see a picture. You want to see the actual product. And you want us to taste it and tell us what it tastes like. So that's what we're doing this for. We're just going to do this first part. And then I was going to have Mama go ahead and start the cornbread so y'all could see it, but she don't like to do that. I forgot about that. Mama, how come I'm forgetting stuff about you?
I don't know.
What's wrong with me? I claim to know everything about you. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to cut up the rest of these potatoes and these few more carrots, stick them in that pot over there, and I'm going to, we're going to get this on the stove. And I'm going to go out there and sit on the porch with Maggie while this bubbles and brews.
Bubbles and brews.
And we'll be eating in about an hour and 10, 20. How long are you going to let this cook? I know you're
I
going to let
want the potatoes to cook slow because I don't want them.
She'll cook it on low and slow, and she'll cook it a good hour
I'll be fine.
to get all these flavors married together and get everything just the way it should be. Won't you, Mama?
Yeah.
Most of the time, back in the day, Mama would fix this in the crock pot while she worked. And then when she wasn't working and made it, she'd make it about lunchtime. And then it'd be ready, and it would have sat there for 2 or 3 hours. You don't want to overcook it, but you do want to let all these wonderful flavors marry together, don't you, Mama?
Yeah, I need the whole cutting board.
Yes, ma'am. That's it, folks. So we're going to say, not goodbye, but until we meet again, because Lord willing, we're going to be back in about an hour when this is finished. We're going to make us up some cornbread. Y'all have seen Mama make cornbread. She'll probably go ahead and make it and just show y'all the finished product so we can eat it all together while it's hot. Because she don't like to stir it up. But Mama just uses in cornmeal, a cup of cornmeal, a 1/2 cup of flour, 1 egg, and buttermilk till it's loose and thin, about like pancake batter, and she pours it in a hot, greased iron skillet. And it sizzles and tastes wonderful, don't it, Mama?
Yeah.
Mama?
So we're ready.
We're ready, except for these few more potatoes. So we're going to let you all go and get your lunch ready, your supper ready. And we're going to be back in about an hour. And so I won't tell you the exact time, because give or take, and show you the finished product. And we'll enjoy some wonderful fall
I
stew.
can smell that beef. It done getting warm.
Yeah, well, the broth smells wonderful. Did you show them what kind of broth? This is just
The store brand.
beef broth macrum. It's just our store brand. You use what? See, it's even got beef stew in the picture. It's just, that's made for beef stew, I guess. This beef stew recipe here is a little bit different than ours. It calls for thyme and all that stuff. Mama says, do you hear? You hear?
Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. That's what our ingredients are tonight, folks. Y'all can remember that one. You can even fix your potatoes, since you're putting them in here. You could make them in the beef stew, in the beef broth. But we're not going to. She's going to rinse them, so we're not going to lose our broth. That was a little secret we learned, and we've done this way for several years. We was just throwing them all in there together because that's the way Mama did it. But then someone told us, or I read it, or something. I don't know how I came across that knowledge. Do you know?
I don't remember. You said you didn't like them. You don't like no thickening.
I think what we did is we made it one time and didn't put any thickening in it, and the next day it was still jelly and thick, and we said, it's got to be the potatoes. So maybe that's how we found out, Mama. You know, you learn stuff over time and you just don't really remember where it came from. I guess that's all right as long as you remember you learned it. Now there's a few more. That's it, Mama. And you can get to cooking.
You've fast on it.
I'm doing these a little bit bigger and not as uniform as if... When I do mashed potatoes, I usually slice mine. Mama quarters hers, but she holds it in her hand and does it. And I don't ever do that. Hardly ever. I don't say never, but hardly ever. But if I were making potato soup or something like that, I'd probably cut these a little more uniform and a little bit more even. There's the potatoes. So these are all going in for one big happy pop in a minute. We'll separate them out, but then we'll put them together for one big happy pot of beef stew. Y'all come back and be with us. Mama's over here rummaging this drawer.
I'm trying to find this thing to put in the soup.
A thing?
The dipper.
Oh, okay. Maybe in the dishwasher, Mama.
Might be.
Mama, say until we meet again.
Until we meet again, just a little bit.
It won't be long. Thank y'all for joining us right now. Come back in about an hour or something. We'll finish up.
Bye-bye.
Bye.